Welcome back to our second lesson about how to make a website using Google Sites. Today's lesson is going to be a little bit different than last one, but just building on top of it. So in today's lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our headings from last time of our pages and think, are they the best headings that we could have about the solar system? Is there any information that we haven't talked about that maybe we can join things together? And then just generally having the best website we can make. The second point that we're going to talk about is about using subheadings in each of the pages to basically explain our information. Like what we've been doing in BTN all year, where we pick a topic and then we have little subheadings around the page. We're going to be looking at that. What are the main topics around that part of information that will be the best way to describe what we want to talk about? The third thing I want to talk about is our ability to fix any design issues. How do we move things around? How do we make the two pictures on one line? How do we change stuff around? And the last thing is adding in fun little features like a Google form where people can use your website to make a quiz or things like that. Not to make a quiz, but to answer a quiz. So let's get started. When we had this last time, let me just make sure. Okay, when we did this last time, when I left you guys, we'd come up with the names of our planets as our pages. And then I was thinking about that, about solar system, and I was thinking having one page for every single planet, and then also having to put on top of that things about the sun and about the moon and about meteors and asteroids and dwarf planets and things like that, might actually mean that our pages just become too many and it becomes complicated and cluttered. Because design is a really big thing. Having things under really clear headings is a really important part of the design process that we're looking at. So what we might do is we might go over here and we might just change some of the names. We might just change the names to the planets. Just the whole thing on all the planets. We're going to have them all in one thing. Then in Venus, we're going to call that the sun. We're going to call this one the moon. We're going to call this one Meteors, Asteroids, and Comets. And then we might have one here. I was thinking about doing one called something like Space Vocabulary. Or we could just call it a glossary. That's the right term for it. And I wonder now whether we just get rid of the other ones, just for now, just to see if it looks better. Okay. Because what we want to do is we want to try to make it so it's not too much stuff going on the page. I've seen pages in which these headings at the top, there might be 2 or 3 lines, and my brain just can't, it's too much stuff for my brain to sort of try to process at that one time. Now we can add extra ones as we go in, but having all the planet information, there's no reason why every single planet needs its own page. So let's try and do it like this, okay? So if I then have my solar system page as my home page, and now I've got my planet page, the sun, because the sun is really important in terms of this, that could go before. You could just drag that above it, and if you drag it above it, now you'll see in here the sun comes first. So even if you thought the glossary was important, now glossary, I think keeping the glossary in the end is probably a good idea. For those of you who don't know about the glossary, that might be where we put in words that we just say that we don't have an explanation for. It's like a definition part, right? So you might have things like space junk or what. So to create a definition, space junk equals whatever, and to explain what that definition of that word means. It's just a really good page to have on a website to explain terms that you use sometimes that some people might not know what they mean. Let's start with meteors. See, I called it meteor. I probably should go in now and change it to meteors. Okay, let's go to that page. Still called Mars, even though I changed it to meteors. So I'm going to have to go in here and change the name of it in here as well. Asteroids and comets. Okay, just going to change the image. I might actually change that to like that. Okay, meteors, asteroids, and comets. And now I have to think about what are the subcategories, the subheadings that I want to explain to answer this, right? So we might have where we're going to insert, and we're going to insert a text box first. And because this is my heading, oops, I did 2 of them. Let's just delete that one. What are asteroids. You could have what are asteroids, comets, and meteors as one heading, okay? Or you could have it individually, like what are asteroids, what are comets, what are meteors. Let's try and do that. Let's try and put them all together. What are meteors? Sorry about that. Let me just put my phone on silent. Asteroids and comets. Now, obviously, if you remember from last time, that does not look like a good title. So I need to make sure that when I select that, I'm going to change it to title, maybe a head. I'd say a title. It could be a title. And I'm going to maybe center it. So I'll press on this to put it in the center. And I might just underline it because quite often headings look really good when they're underlined. Let's see if that worked. Great. Now, they could be different things, asteroids, meteors, and comets. So what I'm going to do is, what are asteroids? Right? Now that is a subheading. So I'm going to change that to a heading. Right? See how it's slightly smaller? And then I'm going to add another text box underneath, which is going to explain it. And then I might go again, and I might say, what, I wonder if there's a way, instead of doing that to make it all the same, if I just copy the one from the first title, paste it into the second one, and then I just change that to being that. Okay, now I could add a text box and I could explain what the comments are, and then I could do the same thing for the next one. Okay, like I said, you could answer it all in one if you want. It's really up to you. It doesn't really bother me. Now, if you felt like you could answer two of those in one section, this is where we're going to change things. So if you wanted to drag this, right, you could drag it up here. I wonder if you can do that. Let me just see. I'll go across here. Divider. No, that wasn't it, sorry. That would be if you wanted to break up the thing. If I pressed that one, right, you could have it so instead of having it like this, you could do the same thing, right? I'm just showing you different ways to do different things. You could have that. Oops, sorry. Because I am a visual learner as well, so I think maybe if you had like those things and then the answers, and then you had here, you just went upload, and you went to your, I think that's a meteorite, but anyway, let's say if that was the right picture. I should delete that. Anyway, I'll get back to that. I could just put that over the top. Let's put the right meteor one on the meteor. Now, I don't know about you, but I find that if those things are down below like that, that is quite useful. I mean, it's going to give you the answers. But if you could see the 3 different pictures and then have the questions underneath and then have the answers, it's all done, and like all those bit of information's all answered in the one screen without having to scroll down. And you'd be able to see the different types of things as they go, so you can kind of have a better understanding. So I find that that layout would actually be better. Now, if you felt like that layout was better and you wanted it at the top, you see those little dots down the bottom? You can just move those, and it'll just keep moving it up, right? Like that. Like that. Oh, where'd it go? Let me see again. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'll get there in a sec. Nearly there. Okay. The other thing is you can see the color palette that's on the side. Okay. Nearly there. There we go. Okay. That makes a lot more sense, right? What are meteorites, asteroids, and comets? And then you've got it. Now, obviously, if I was looking at this, I'd probably say, why do you start with meteors? And then here you say, why do you start with asteroids? I'd probably move that around. Okay? Now, you can see, like I was saying, the color palette here. You can change it to, I don't even know what this would do. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't mind that. Makes it look a little bit different. Okay, so let's say now I don't want these sections, so I'm just going to delete these parts here. Now the next thing I'm going to think about is what else, if I was learning about these, what else would I want to know? And then I can create my subheadings based on that. So insert, text box. Some of the other headings I was thinking about would be it could be what are they made of? It could be how often do they occur? Or how often do they hit Earth? It could be a question like that. It could be what are they made of? It could be have they hurt anyone? Have they hurt anyone? Let's say if you had what are they made of as a question. Now once again, that doesn't look very good because it's normal text. So we're going to change it to a heading. And now we can have our text underneath. So if I drag my text box here, I should be able to, if I add an image in, I should be able to move these boxes around. See this photo here? If I don't like this photo here, I should be able to move it over here. So now my picture's over here. So what are they made of? And I might have all three. Asteroids are made of this, and then I have a photo here. If I want to add in another photo, let's see if I can do that. Image. I actually found it easier just to add in the photos down here and then just drag. I could drag this one across again like this. You can just drag stuff to wherever you want it, really. That's the great thing about this program, is it's really just drag and drop. Okay, so it could be a section for what are they made of. Like when you're doing your BTN, you could have an end, like right at the end after all of these sections, you could have a section for just interesting facts, and then you could talk about like weird asteroids that have hit the Earth and things like that. Change it to a subheading, underline it. You could bold it if you wanted to. It's up to you. And then have like facts and maybe some photos of some craters and things like that that have been caused by meteors and things like that. So try to use all the stuff that we've been doing in BTN this year about breaking up things into subheadings, and then each of your pages is going to be like that. Now I don't expect you to do all this in one go, but because what I want you to do from here is just make one page and try to create it, whatever you're comfortable with. It could be one planet, it could be the sun, it could be the moon, it could be something like that. I'm not really bothered by which one you choose, but just try to pick one topic, come up with some subheadings for it, and try to include all the information about that. One of the other things I've been looking around trying to sort of make a little bit different is that you could have a thing down the bottom where if I go to Google Forms, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Google Forms, but it is in your it is in your Google Suite over here. So if you press down here and you go across, you can see there Google Forms. Now Google Forms is a great way of making quizzes, sort of just to test people, and there's going to be a lot of Google Forms that you guys have done doing this week. You can have a blank quiz. It's great. You press blank quiz, and then it asks you to write the title of your quiz. So it might be on asteroids, meteors, and comets, right? And then question one would be what what are asteroids made from, right? Yeah. And then you'd have your options down here. You could have things like granite, gold, rock, like stone, whatever, right? And then whichever one your answer is, you press answer key, and you pick whichever one is your correct answer. Okay, which none of these are right, but anyway, if they were right, you press on the one that's correct, and you would put in there how many points, which obviously this is not right. So if you did that, and then when you want to send it to someone, you can click on here. I usually click on the shorten URL one. You copy, or you don't have to copy that, you can just leave it as it is, Now, when you are then going to here, down the bottom, it says here Google Forms. Now, all the Google Forms you've ever made will be in here. Right, so I actually have one that I actually did was a bit better than this. It was only one question. And I press on it, and I add it in. It says, which planet is closest to the sun? Now, your Google form could be 20 questions long. It could be as long as or as short as you want it to be. Okay, so now I put that down the bottom. I will like it in the middle. So see, I just moved it around. If I just pick up the shape and move it, you can see the grids are there, and that's how you can move it. You can then say, I wanted it to be bigger. So you've made it as big as you wanted to make it, like that. Okay, I'm still a bit off center now, so let's move it back to where it should be. Not happy with that either. Okay, there we go. Great. So now that I've put my quiz in there, I can't answer it. The reason I can't answer it is because I'm in preview. I'm not in preview mode. So if I go up to the top and I press preview mode, you can see here. Now if I press Mercury, press submit, giving me a chance to view my score. It'll tell me I got 0 out of 0 because I didn't give a mark for that question, but you can see that. So we'll do some more lessons on Google Forms because they're a bit more complex than what I just sort of did there, because you can add questions in that would have pictures in it. You could add questions in there that are like a text box. So their reply would be how. So you could have, how can I make my website better, right? And then you could have paragraph, right? And then you could leave that. And then when people want to, how do I spell website? It's been a long day. Then when people and you could have that as just one question. How can I make my website better? And then when people answer it in, it goes to your email address and you can see what their review was. So it's a really cool way to sort of make your Google site more interactive, and that when people do go there, they can actually tell you how they feel about it or answer quizzes, make it a bit more fun. We might leave it there for now, but so I want to make sure you guys are now able to make one page with subheadings that goes through the most important information about that particular subheading. All right, it has pictures, maybe a YouTube clip, maybe some interesting facts, maybe a Google form, something like that. Because remember, the things we were trying to learn today were, now I lost it, sorry, about creating better headings for our pages, getting rid of all the planets and seeing if we can break down our subheadings, our headings, then using subheadings to explain our information, improving our ability to sort of move pictures around and have it so it's designed a little bit better than just having information, and maybe adding in some fun features like Google Forms or things like that. See how you go with it. I'd love you to send me your, if there's a way, I wonder if there is a way. Let's go back. If you went to publish, oh, it lets me sort of, anyone can view my site. You could probably share it with me. If you typed in my name there, it would probably come up with my email address. You could probably share it, publish your site, or at least manage it with me. It says here I can call my website whatever I want. So I could call it Mr. West Solar System. I wonder if anyone's taken it. There you go. If I get a tick, it means no one's used that website before. So I can press publish. And then, if you were to type in that website address, you could send people that website address. So I wonder if there's a way to send it now. Publish, return to editor. Let's have a look. Send. Is there a way to send it to someone? Publish, review changes, publish settings. Is it this one? What's that one? Publish site link. There you go. It's that link one. So once again, it's that link one at the top. That's my website. You can copy that link there when you finish what you've done up to. You can paste that into our Google Classroom, and then we'll be able to all check it out. All right. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Let me know if you have any problems. Bye.